So I guess I should probably do the physical attackers now. And then I basically covered everything. I guess except for the body press Pokemon if I just put defense. But let's see. So I think I would prefer it to be a special attack because then I got a 3-3 split. But 4-2 is fine. 4-2 is perfectly fine. Is Palafin worth considering in the slightest? Because one thought I have had about it is it could be a jetpack, then you have wave crash, jet punch, of course. Yeah, where's jet punch? Oh, is it usually useless? Why is it that? Anyway, then you could have close combat and acrobatics. It's not worth it, but it's funny. Moving on. Then we have... I'll just leave the legendaries there, I can work it out. We've already got Landorus, so we're already sorted with that. But Backscalibur is definitely still worth it. I would have it over Roaring Moon for sure, if I were to have it. Like, I would still just have my Life Orb one. And then I'd have to have something else instead of Roaring Moon. That would be perfectly fine. I think the same logic of, like, all of these would apply were this Roaring Moon to be a Backscalibur. But then I'd be a little bit weaker against things like Psy Spam. But, you know, how many Psy Spams am I going to face in EUIC? Who's going to be that guy that brings it? Glastria would be reasonable in the snow, because it is very bulky. Unfortunately, I can't just go body press iron defense. Well, I can, but it doesn't get the snow benefit. Like, if it did get a boost in snow to body press, this would be very good. Obviously, this should be Icicle Crash. Like, if I max out all this stuff, like, this is very bulky. And in the snow, that's like 225/6 defense. Like, that's insane bulk. And then I could just Terra Water to get out of any bad typings for ice. So that is worth considering. Because that is a lot of bulk available to Glastria. And then it could snowball out of control when you get a Chilling Neigh boost. Ursaluna, I've had a thought of it gets Yawn. I could go with this. And pair it with the Heatran. The main issue is that water still does very well against this. But, like, what I would do is I would bulk this out. I wouldn't just go max attack. I would still have the Flame of Guts and Facade and all that. But I wouldn't go max attack. I would go something like a bit of attack and then here's some more bulk. So, like, you know, just go for that. And then... because this is also very bulky. So it would be able to survive some hits. And, like, Terra, whatever, usually Ghost, gets out of the weaknesses. So, like, Yawn, Magma Storm on turn 1, and now suddenly I've got my Flame Orb activated. I have had a thought that that would be reasonable. But then I would replace Landorus with Ursaluna. And then have something else in this slot. So, again, that's something to consider separately. So it wouldn't be a 6th Mon were Landorus to still be a thing. But it is definitely worth considering. I just haven't got around to trying it yet. King Gambit is a good Pokemon. I'd probably have King Gambit... or, like, I'd consider King Gambit way more if I had Backscalibur over Roaring Moon. That would surely be worth it. No, not Excadrill, not Metagross. Is Cleaver worth it? Get some Stealth Rocks. Then when they... well, when they try to switch out... no, I was going to say when they try to switch out the Yawn, but I don't have Yawn, so that doesn't work. Salamence over Roaring Moon as double Intimidate. I mean, I didn't consider this as a special attacker. It still can be. But were it to be a physical attacker, I would want Life Orb, and I would want Dual Wing Beat, and I do not trust it in the slightest. This is the move the move that is 90% accurate that I trust the absolute least. because I don't know what it is about this specific Salamence. Whenever I've done it, like back in Generation 8 and all that as well, when I thought, well, Salamence might actually be good on this team, it was 5 times in a row. I started counting because it was so noticeable. 5 times in a row, I missed the first dual wing beat of a Salamence on a brand new team. Like, I don't trust dual wing beat in the slightest. So, yeah, even though that could be reasonable over the Roaring Moon and then something else, then I don't trust it. Where am I at? 135, so Slitherwing? Surely not. I do like it, but surely not. Although it is a ground resist, to be fair. Don't think Dragonite's worth it. Tyranitar is obviously a bad idea with Ninetales. And Iron Thorns is a quad weak shared with Heatran, so no. Great Tusk over Landorus, no. I do still like Sneasler. The Urshifus are definitely worth considering. I still think that this Urshifu could be pretty well placed in the meta right now. Still think this one could be reasonable. And to be fair, it would be, like, not bad on my team either. Terra Poison, obviously. It does just give me another fairy weakness, though, and then it just makes Fluttermane better. Like, obviously I can Terra Poison out of it, but I have to commit my Terra to be able to do that. I think that is worth considering. Maybe if I had that over the Iron Hands and had Monkey Dory still. In fact, I should copy and paste it, shouldn't I? Because then Monkey Dory's already there, and I can copy and paste that. Would that be more reasonable? Like, Iron Hands is good. And I think it would fit on my team very well. But that's also not bad. Yeah, that's seriously not bad at all. You know, I can definitely see that. I am strongly considering that at the moment. Now I need to recopy and paste, don't I? And I need to do this one. But I need to finish off. I will come back to that. That's it. Yeah, I'll leave that Urshifu there as a reminder, because that's actually pretty good. Mamoswine in the snow. That's not bad. I would want Oblivious, though, not Snowcloak. And I already have Landorus as well. I could replace the Landorus with a Mamoswine. Yeah, again, something to consider. Breloom. I like Breloom. To be fair, it would be perfectly fine here. Is there any argument to bulk it out at all? Like go Terra Poison. And obviously loaded dice if I'm bulking it out. But let's see, Mac Punch, Spore. Is there any way that I can bulk this out somewhat reasonably? Where is Spore? There's no way that's a usually useless move. What? How would you call Spore usually useless? That's ridiculous. Right, so, oh, it's stat. Yeah, I keep forgetting its stats are abysmal. So even if I invest purely into bulk, like, that's fine. Not bold, obviously, impish. Yeah, that's not good enough. So it would have to be Sash. And then that defeats the point of me bulking out my team. So now I'm already liking the Monkey Dory Urshifu. That seems like it would be absolutely worthwhile. Iron Leaves. Worth it all? The Life Orb is free. I'd go Life Orb. What would it be? It's Psyblade, Leaf Blade. I could have Swords Dance, but I'd prefer just the coverage. So is it Psyblade and Sacred Sword / Close Combat? I'll probably go Close Combat. And to be fair, a lot of people are outspeeding Landorus Incarnate with that, with their Ogerpons. And I could easily catch them with that. Because my Ninetales is trying to creep those as well. So I think like the Ogerpon and Ninetales that won in the Articuno team were 170 and 171, I think. Some way round. Can't remember which way round. So the Ninetales is supposed to creep them a little bit. So this would be not unreasonable, I think. Probably not the one, but not unreasonable. Where am I at? Here we go. Ursaring, Eviolite, and then it can still yawn, just like the Ursula Luna can. I don't think this would be worth it because I don't get any kind of guts boost if I'm going with Eviolite. So then what would he even have here? I guess Double Edge. Like a pseudo Ursula Luna. But then its bulk is actually pretty good. Yeah, like that would actually be pretty bulky. But wouldn't do much. Scizor is a steel type that does not, or is not weak to ground, and helps against Fluttermane. So this is not bad either. Helps against Ogerpons too, because super effective. It got Bug Bite back, but I would probably still stick with Lunge, because that's good support as well. There's only a few berries running around. Yeah, Lunge, Bullet Punch. Swords Dance, or would I want Close Combat? And the Life Orb is free, so I would have Life Orb. I think I'd have Close Combat if I'm Life Orb. That is perfectly reasonable. And to be fair, it does pair well with Heatran because of Flash Fire. Right. Still only the 130s, that's quite amusing. Okay, Brew Bonnet. I do like Brew Bonnet. But that's another fairy weakness that I probably can't get away with. Okidogi is a good Pokemon. But I think at this point I would run Sneasler over Okidogi. Speaking of which, still worth it. Rillaboom is definitely still worth it. The only issue I have with Rillaboom, like it gives recovery to myself, but it gives recovery to them, which kind of cancels out the Magma Storm. So it's like an equal trade-off because we're all recovering, but like I don't like Rillaboom in that regard because this is a Magma Storm team, and then halving the effectiveness of Magma Storm is not what I want. So I don't think I want Rillaboom. Zapdos is worth it if I choice Scarf it. Zapdos is reasonable, to be fair. I could do the same thing as and have Monkey Dory over Iron Hands. Gyarados is a secondary Intimidator. I would want Life Orb. I always want Life Orb on my Gyarados. It feels too weak otherwise. But then Waterfall, and then it would have to be Terra Blast again, wouldn't it? And I've already got the 2 Terra Blasters. I guess I could go with the other theory that I've had where it's Outrage. is the best thing I can see. It could also be loaded ice scale shot, but then I lose the life orb for the waterfall. So I'd probably stick with that. And like, this is fine. Yeah, that's not terrible. Like, double intimidate is always a good thing. Unless you're facing Defiant Pokemon and competitive Pokemon. That over Iron Hands with Follow Me is not the worst. But I don't think I want it paired with Heatran, because then that's just ground weak still. Where am I at? Here, right? Alright, this is one of the more obvious ones that would fit. Like, I think that this would definitely be good, because Water Absorb would help with the, like, not quite Storm Drain, but would help out the Heatran for sure. Like, this pairs very well with Heatran. So I think I do need to strongly consider this. And, like I was going to say the issue. It's not an issue, is that this is just a very, like, these are expected Pokemon. Like, granted, this is run in a different way, but the rest are still basically as expected. But that shouldn't prevent me from using it. Just because I use the more off meta teams doesn't mean I must not use a meta team. Or, like, all 6 meta Pokemon. That shouldn't stop me. Because the point of me using these unorthodox Pokemon is because they fit the team perfectly. Were Ogerpon? Was Ogerpon? What's the sentence? Doesn't matter. If Ogerpon was the correct Pokemon, like, definitely the correct 6th Pokemon, and if I was using something else, I am slightly nerfing myself, I should use Ogerpon. This is the European International. If it's a regional, I'll probably get away with just the slight nerf just for more interesting. This is the European International. This could be the paid trip to Hawaii. So I should use the team that's going to give me the best chance. Iron Bottler. There we go. That was a tangent. So, this has started to find a little bit of success on the Grimmsnarl Okidogi team. The Life Orb is free. Mighty Cleave is a very strong move because it's a pseudo Urshifu. But then I'm very weak to water now. Yeah, that makes me too weak to water. I can't have a rock type there. Unless I have Storm Drain. But I don't know where I'd put Storm Drain were I to have Iron Boulder now. So... Chimpower is still good. And it with an Assault Vest, it pairs well with Ninetales because then it gets the Snow Boost as well. But probably not, given I already have an Ice and also a Dark type. Because I basically replaced this Chimpower with Ninetales, so I don't need to consider it again. Just the regular Ogerpons wouldn't be too bad. Like, I do still like Teal Mask. Don't like Cornerstone because it wouldn't be resisting water, and I'd prefer that. Grimmsnarl is decent, but I'd be adding another Fairy Weakness. I want to avoid adding a Fairy Weakness if I can help it. That's why when I'm strongly considering this Urshifu, Iron Hands has to go for Monkey Dory. Serena, stop fake outs. My issue with Serena is its inaccuracy. Like, I'd run Wide Lens for sure, but that's still something I can't really get over with Serena. Namorous is a physical attacker. I considered it as a special attacker. Could it be a physical attacker? Because Superpower and Play Rough. But then you're forced into running Play Rough. Like, I shouldn't be put off because, well, I must run Play Rough were this to be a physical attacker. Because, you know, you have to. It's good. But I'm trying to be consistent with accuracy. Like, even the 90% on a Magma Storm, I'm not 100% comfortable with. I'm 90% comfortable with it, obviously. But I'm trying to limit inaccuracy if I can help it as well. Especially because the main point of the team is already 90% accurate for the most part. I don't need Gouging Fire with Heatran. That seems unnecessary. I don't need Arcanine with Heatran. Annihilate is still a good Pokemon, but I don't think so. I think if I was running it, I'll probably run a Final Gambit one. The Choice Scarf Final Gambit one would still be fine. No, I've said, though, this could be just a Defiant Pokemon. That would be fine. Basculegion is definitely still a good Pokemon. I still like Basculegion sweeping endgames a lot. So it should still be worth considering. Don't think I'd have Como-O, because I've got Iron Hands and Roaring Moon already. I mean, I could consider Swampert, but at that point I'm using Gastrodon. Surely. Incineroar's bad, I'm not using Incineroar. I'd only ever use Incineroar were it to be like the absolutely obviously it could only be this 6th Pokemon. And that's happened, what, twice across the entire time that Incineroar's been legal? Snorlax for Yawn is not bad, because it's very bulky. What would I even have for extra attacks? Guess Double Edge. I could Heavy Slam as well. In fact, I might even have just go, because it gets Headlong Rush, doesn't it? I know, I'm thinking of, it was one of the few that got high horsepower when that was first a move. So I could go with that and just have no normal coverage. And let's Protect. There we go. Oh, where's Heavy Slam gone? Because this would still be fine. This would, like, just think of it like a Porygon 2 that has Thunderbolt and Ice Beam. Right, it's just having good coverage. Where's Protect gone? There we go. Yeah, because this is very bulky. So this would be able to sponge off a lot of hits. And especially were I to give it one of its berries. I'd probably have Thick Fat and Citrus Berry. Yeah, that's a lot of bulk. But then I'd surely have Dondozo over Snorlax, right? Yeah, I would surely have Dondozo over Snorlax. Speaking of which, I'm probably getting pretty close to Dondozo. Toxicroak is worth considering over Sneasler and Okidogi, but just purely because of dry skin. But I don't think that's worth it, because it doesn't really have the bulk to back it up. So I will probably not have Toxicroak. Toxicroak's good in Kyogre formats, because Kyogre is so dominant that just having dry skin as an invalidator is worth it. I have thought that Garganacl paired with Magma Storm could be worth it, but then these share too many weaknesses. Like, it shares ground and water and fighting. Like, you know, all of Heatran's weaknesses are shared by Garganacl, so I don't think I can get away with it. It would be nice, but not worth it, surely. There's Dondozo, and I'm at the hundreds again. Like, Dondozo is fine, but the fact that it's walled by Ogerpon is putting me off a lot. And we're below the hundreds now, so I don't think that any of these are really worth it at this point anymore. I mean, do I care about my abilities? Yeah, I do, don't I? Because I've got Booster Energy on Roaring Moon, Snow, Warning, Intimidate, Flash Fire, they're all good. I don't want to turn them off. So I think that's probably it. I guess I'll put Amoonguss, because Amoonguss is fine. But I think, out of all of these, like, there's a few special attacking ones that I think would be worth it. Like, I do want to just have a quick look at Spectria at some point, because I still like Spectria. So just scrolling up, like, Monkey Dory is still worth it. Like, this bottom one I brought to a Repairman Challenge, so I was happy enough that this would be worth it. But Spectria is worth. Some of these I'm not considering too much. They're just for the sake of completeness. The Glaceon could still be good with the Ornn. Tatsugiri with Storm Drain could be good. That Wild Charge or Defiant Thunderous is probably worth looking at more. Articuno is still good. Frostmoth and Iron Bundle is worth looking at. I like the Salazzle. That's funny. But the quad weak shared with Heatran is probably not worth it. The Porygon I want to strongly consider, because it can do some funny things if I'm just not using Trick Room. Regice could be worth it. Like, all of these are worth it. But I think that the current standout is this one. Swapping the Iron Hands instead of the Monkey Dory for Urshifu. So I'd go back down to just one Fake Out, but I was going to anyway when I had Iron Hands. And I'm losing out on the massive bulk of the Iron Hands. Like, it's very impressive behind Aurora Veil, what it can survive. But Urshifu would still do similar things. This would help more against ground types, because, like, the focus is Heatran. This would help against ground types, but it's also an Urshifu that can beat an Ogerpon, which that slot would still need to do, like Iron Hands does. So this slot would still need to. The Urshifu's still good for that. It's not adding a Fairy weakness, because this was an Iron Hands. It keeps the Fairy weakness, and now the Defense Terror is still fine as well. And then Monkey Dory stays on the team, being another Fairy resist. So I think that this is probably where I'm going to continue first. And if this works out, then maybe this is the one. What was my spread? Can't remember what my spread was. I think it was, let's see, it was 193. Because I've updated it, haven't I? I think I had 196 to Oko with Chien-Pao. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that. So, then I need to put it in alphabetical order now that I'm done with that. So, that's there. And yeah, Terra Grass on that would make sense as well, just as extra comfort against water types. But this does seem, as far as I can see, very reasonable. I wasn't expecting to go through that and then sacrifice the Iron Hands. I was fully expecting Monkey Dory to be the one that disappeared. And, like, in all other situations, basically, it is the Monkey Dory that's disappeared. Like, all of these are worth considering. But I don't have time to consider everything, so there's going to be plenty that I disregard. So I think I'm going to focus on this as my next point.